Welcome back to the T Ranch Sawmill. Today we have a 9-foot and it looks like a 22-inch rotting walnut come off the Rockin' S Silbot Ranch. And this log right here, I have a video on it where we broke a blade on a bandsaw. So what we're going to do is try to find all the metal that's still in the log and get it out of there and put it on my circular mill, and we'll see how many teeth I can break out of my blade. So I got Camera Girl here with the metal detector. Right here, that's where that was a lag bolt that broke a blade at the end of the day. Now this log came from my uncle's, what was his yard when he lived in a trailer house when he first got married. So I'm gonna blame all this metal on him. So Camera Girl loves to metal detect. She's got a Garrett 150. Where's my chalk? That's a nail. Now that's a recent nail. My uncle hadn't lived there since the early 70s. Right there. I wonder what was on this. There's another one. That's 3. Do it again. Is it right here?
It does it
somewhere in here.
Yeah. That could be the ruler. No? Something's there.
Definitely, huh?
Mm-hmm.
It's right in here.
Mm-hmm.
Good gracious. Am I right in there?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. I don't know if I want to cut it. Maybe if I take a big enough cut, I'll miss some of them. I guess you never know though. Okay, here's one right here. It looks like it might be easy. Oh yeah, I wish they were all that easy. That's a little 6-penny. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, the piece that just broke off in here is 3, 4, never found this one, 5. We got 5 pieces of metal and the Camera Girl's metal detector is saying 6 inches below surface.
Mm-hmm.
So if it was a pine or any other log, I would not mill it, but because it's walnut, it's probably worth it, right? I still have some bits left in my box I can replace teeth. If they're nails, I can go right through them. It's that big lag bolt down there that was tough. That was 3/8. Pretty tough to get through that one. So that's it. Let's put it on the mill. coming off the carriage, we got 26. Coming off the knees, 20 inches. If I cut it, my saw blade will cut about 13. It used to cut 14 before I did all the work on the carriage, but now it only cuts around 13. So let's just say that I cut it 15. And that means this area right here, when I cut it down through there on the saw, it'll stop. The 15 was this one direction when I flip it over. Right now I'm talking about this direction. So it's going to cut right around in here. It sucks because that's all I can cut with the saw blade. That means I got to cut this part with the chainsaw, this right through here. But if I do that, then when I rotate it around, and this part right here is down on the carriage, then I'm looking at 15 inches there. And that means the saw blade is going to stop right here when it's rotated, and I only have to cut that much with the chainsaw, and that's pretty easy to do. So this log, of course, is way too big for my carriage. I mean, I can't even get my dogs in it, so it tells you something. But it's walnut, and you don't waste walnut. That's why I'm cutting it. The other thing you might have noticed is I added a shed. The last video I did was the beetle kill pine. So those are full dimension 2x4s over there. And so I needed a shed so this whole bunk would be under roof. Okay, and then as you see, I got some slab or glitches over there, and they're there because that wood was so wet. It started bending a little bit. So just think of it as I stickered it 8 feet off the ground, those glitches. What I want to do is cut 2 1/4, 2 pulls on my carriage advance. So like that. Basically that. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to limit the number of times I'll pass my blade through the log, since it does have metal. In a previous video, I think I called it Broke the Blade with Milling Sport Logs. I had a band mill out here. And we cut this log. We cut this right here with the band mill, and we hit a 3/8 lag bolt. I don't know what they had, some kind of fence tied to this walnut. This walnut is probably 80 years old, who knows. But it's had that lag bolt, and then it had, it's like barbed wire fence, and it had nails in it. So I don't know what they were doing with it. But it wasn't just my uncle, there was other people that lived there for years. This is right on the side of the lake. So remember, there's no other important safety tip that I can give you when you're milling something like this. Wear your safety strands, because that metal could come flying out. Hope you enjoy the video. The goal here is to get this as far out as I can, but still clear my safety cage. Normally I just take off a little bit at a time, so it's easier to handle. We've got a throttle now on this sawmill, and the reason I added that is to slow down on some of the propane consumption, because especially handling a log like this, you're constantly messing with it, you're not sawing it, and the tractor would be running wide open. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and see what happens. Okay, that little black spot was not metal. Stuff was flying out when I was cutting through there, but I think it was the blade catching pieces of bark in this hollow area right here and shooting it out like a bullet. Of course, it was going straight down, so I wasn't in any danger. But I don't see any metal so far. Let's try this again. Damn, it's in the piece I cut off. Well, here comes my favorite part. I gotta roll it. You see where this log rack comes in right here? Well, when I stretch the bunk and stretch the carriage, these don't line up anymore. These used to line up with those two green dogs over there. So what I'm gonna have to do is come over 6 foot or so and put in another log support right through here. And then I could just pull the carriage up, flip it over on it, and I flip it over on it, scoot it back, and be on my way. Not the case today. So what I'm going to do is drive some wedges in here because I'm afraid this thing's going to flip forward if I undo the dogs. So I'm just going to try to increase my chances of that not happening. So whatever I can get under it, I'm going to put under it. Some of this seems like it's pretty good, but see that color right there? That's really concerning. But it is walnut, so I'm going to stay with it. See if I can get the dogs loose. Since I hammered them down in there, it's not going to be so easy. Yeah, that's nice. Really nice. Dave McGuire told me to flip these vertical pieces here. And when I did that, it made the dogs bite. So that's a really nice tip from Dave. I appreciate that. Dave McGuire and Son Sawmill. If you want to see some good videos, he's remaking a bell saw. Alright, so far so good. It didn't fall. Since this log's so big, I'm going to work it from this side. I don't know if you can see me or not. So I'm going to bring the carriage back as far as I can get it. Which Mr. Belsaw said no more than a 20-inch log. I far exceeded that today. I'm knocking the mushrooms, the turkey tail mushrooms out here. So I'm going to roll it against my knees, and I know you shouldn't do that. But I'd have to get my tractor in here to do it. Lift it off and flip it. I don't feel like doing that, so here we go. I'm going to try to do it as gently as I can. Okay, I didn't bend anything yet. Tell you what. Put some Earl under here, so maybe it'll slide. Hopefully this doesn't bend any metal. Here we go. get her all done quickly. A little more manageable now. But like I said, I can cut 13. I can cut right in there. So that's how much I have to take out with the chainsaw. Looks like the first cut down through here, I'll probably go 4 because it's hollow right here. Probably some animals living in there. So we'll try to go 4. I can clear the cage with that. I don't really need to put the dogs on there, but I probably will. It's back as far as it can go against the knees, as good as we can get it. The pits don't line up either, but with what's going on, that's the least of my worries. So I have to be careful on that back side over there. We're almost 6 inches right there. Let's call it 8 from the center of the track. Let's see if we'll clear. Yep, looks like we'll clear. I'd like to cut all the way to right here, but I can't because I hit my cage, my safety cage. So the blade's going to come in right here and start whacking away. And none of this will be usable. It'll just be firewood. I guess I'll put my dogs back in. Alright, let's get the mighty case fired back up. Another inch. so I don't have to use the chainsaw anymore. I think it'll just break off. It's not the greatest. Some of it's hard and some of it's punky. That orange color there that you see, I don't know if you can see it on the camera or not, but that's the beginning of the end.
another nail. I don't know what that is. I don't think it's going to get any better. So I'm just risking the blade for not much reward. So what I could do is lay it down and cut it right down the middle and take it over to the buzz saw.
Well, this log here turned out to be really no good. It's got a few spots in it that are hard, but a lot of it's rotten. You saw me hit at least 3 nails. I'm not sure what it was. It might have been barbed wire. And with super glue, you could actually do a little something with these, but most of this, like this one right here, will probably go to the buzz saw. And to put walnut on the buzz saw, for me, is like taking a horse to the glue factory. But it still has a lot of character in it. If you saw my sawmill, it's cutting straight. It cut all this straight anyway. Alright, let me get you. Let's see what I got you right here. You can see what I framed up here. Those are 2 inches by 4 inches. Those rafters. And this is just some old cedar. I recover cedar logs in our woods here from the timber guys. They just knocked them over. Hate to see them go to waste, so I'll go get them. And you can see they're kind of not in the best shape, but I find ways to use them. Getting back to this walnut, this time in the yard with this log than with the previous log, the walnut log I cut is called, I don't know, sawing walnut kinks or whatever. The difference is this walnut was by the lake and it was basically dead. It like had 1 limb with some green leaves in it, whereas the other one that got struck by lightning was about half dead. So that was the difference. So this one was rotting long before I ever got it. It was kind of like standing up and rotting. But it has some real pronounced figure in it. Almost like zebra wood. These are all 2 1/4 by 9 foot. What can be green and inside of a log? This one right here. My goodness, it'd make a great fireplace mantle, but sure takes some work. You can see the punkiness right there. But not all the way through it. You can see it fades out. It gets a little harder as you go. The mill cut good. Was able to handle this walnut. You saw me put water on the blade. The western sun coming from that way is west. Hitting that blade, it changes the tension in it and it becomes unstable. It's almost like it goes to critically damped, oscillating really fast. I can hear it in the guides before you can ever see it in the saw blade. The guides will start talking to me. And what I've done is killed the tractor and come over here and put my hand on it and it would be hot. And that was causing me to not cut true. So that's the first time I ever tried putting water on it. It seemed to work. So I guess this is it for now. The throttle worked good. It got a little hung up right there at the first. I couldn't figure out what was wrong, but I popped it once and it was okay after that. So I guess I'm signing off. I hope this video was worth your while of watching it, and appreciate you watching it, and I hope y'all have a blessed week. Okay, so these teeth were straight across before I started. That was more or less. That one had a nick on it. So those nails did some damage here.
But nothing that can't be filed out, I don't think. I have a rotary filer though. Makes it pretty easy to fix this. And just a bastard file. They're all boogered up. Oh, that one's really bad.
What are you doing, Uncle Kim? With your niece?
I'm watching the rows feed the sawmill menace.
They don't need much, Rosie.
Shake it like a salt shaker. There you go. There you go.
Come down here a little bit. Put some down here.